selection needed. Understand, Coleman's got to be their first option. Thompson's got to get around the basket and use his athletic ability for offensive rebounds. Owens.
Martin. Pressured and fouled. It's a 4-point Pitt cushion.
Bobby Martin with 4 big free throws. That kid comes back and answers with a trifecta. Michael Edwards off the bench. 78-77.
Owens 4 for 22.
That's why I said that wasn't a great shot. I knew you'd bail me out and find it for me. Here it is again, the 3-on-2. 3 on the perimeter, 2 along the baseline. He has to be 6 feet away from him to challenge him defensively for the ref to start talking about a 5-second count. Notice how Thompson's away from him.
7-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock.
He likes to penetrate it and dish the ball off. Right now, the guy you want to have it.
That timeout call. Matthews, stolen by Allen.
Oh, here it goes. It's going to be all over.
Thompson.
Oh, what a play. What a defensive play.
No timeout. Pitt without a timeout, we're told.
Stop. And now Benningham wants to guard right now. They're going to use Coleman as a protector. Porter, they're going to get a shot. They're going to get a shot. They're going to get a shot. There's a shot.
It's over.
And Juice leaves with the W.
A&T and the Eagle ready to soar, but Coppin State sloppy with the ball early on. The Aggies knock it away. And the Aggies' Dana Elliott comes out with it, takes it all the way down for the layup, and North Carolina A&T was up by 6. But Reggie Isaac got hot for the Eagles. He had 14 points tonight, pulls up for the jumper there to tie the score at 39. He had 12 points in the second half for Isaac. 3:30 left to play. The Aggies up by 1, and Jarrett Orr left wide open, buries the 3, giving Coppin State then the lead for good down the stretch. You see the sadness and then the celebration. Coppin State on its way to the NCAAs despite a losing record this season. Chip was decided. Showtime. Robert Morris on the run. Andre Boyd, great long bounce pass to Moses Moss for the layup, and Monmouth Wayne goes deep in concentration. The Hawks then answer back. Alex Blackwell drives, spins, scores in traffic, and it was a 2-point game at halftime. Now in the second half, Monmouth continued to go inside to Alex Blackwell, baseline, and scores as he fouled. Monmouth up by 1, but then Robert Morris got running again in the second half. Andre Boyd, the pull-up jumper off the break, putting his team up by 3, and Jarrett Durham's Colonials went on to win their 22nd game of the year. The fans streaming onto the court. They now go to the NCAA tournament. Fresno and finding it easy going in the middle. Reggie Jordan cutting in the lane and scoring the layup to put his team up by 16. The Bulldogs then come up with a steal, but Wilbur Hooker tries the slam. He misses. New Mexico State heads the other way on the 3-on-1. Keith Hill to Michael New for the jam, and Fresno simply frustrated. Fresno State, their own worst enemy in this game, really. James Anderson with a steal ahead to Keith Hill for the easy layup. New Mexico State up by 20 at that point, and it was time for the Aggies to cut down the net as co-champions of the Big West. They're co-champions with UNLV and the Aggies Athletic and Convocation Center. The Irish had lost 3 straight, but on the break here, Devon Sweet between the legs dribble to Alfonso Ellis. Ellis lays it in, draws the foul. The Irish up by 4, and Digger is excited. They went on 13-4 run, and then the Irish really almost perfect second half. Tim singled in the alley-oop to Monty Williams. Williams finished with 4 speed to lead Notre Dame, and Digger smiling now as it looks like they're on their way to the NCAAs. Notre Dame clinching its 8th straight win and clinched to share the title instead today. David Hinton, the bad pass, picked up by Linda Priest, a one-handed power dance. Connecticut had a 2-point lead. It was still close in the first half. The point guard, Nadal Hennefield, getting the ball on the side, puts up the 3-pointer. It's good. In the second half, Connecticut up by 11. The Huskies on the break, 5-on-3. Hennefield goes in for the layup. It won't fall, but Rod Sellers right there with the fall. The Huskies build a 9-point lead. Chris Smith getting it up top, drives the lane in, banks it off the glass, 4-2. Connecticut coming away with a convincing win. Hennefield finishing with 18 points. Little working the ball down low to main man Alex Kessler sinking the fadeaway jumper. Georgia by 8. Lateral Green driving baseline now past Reggie Gallen gets the reverse layup. He finished with 30 points. And Alex Kessler watched the spin move around Zane Arnold. Kessler finishing with 20 points. Also hauled down 15 rebounds. Georgia is first SEC championship, and the coach's wife gets a big hug. How about them dogs?
33,015. Derek Coleman, Stephen Thompson's last home game of the Orange. Mike Hopkins turns it over. Alonzo Mourning starts the break. Mark Tillman finishes, and Georgetown led by as many as 10 in the first half. Lead cut to 36-33. Derek Coleman on the line. John Thompson goes absolutely berserk. Draws a technical foul. Draws another. 3 technicals. Waves the crowd on as he's ejected from the game. Coleman is 7 of 8 free throws. 6 of them were the technicals, and then they retain possession. Billy Owens nails a 3. A 10-point turnaround. 45-40 Syracuse at the half. That's Craig Esherick, assistant coach, with the job of trying to lead Georgetown back. And when Stephen Thompson gets the feed from Derek Coleman, it was Syracuse by 7, 67-60. But the Hoyas within 2. Alonzo Mourning, yes, and the foul completes the three-point play. The Hoyas lead at 79-78, 81-79 Georgetown. Billy Owens driving up court. Now Georgetown has the lead, but with a second to go, Sam Jefferson fouls Billy Owens, a gift for Boeheim and company. And so Georgetown, which thought they had the win, watches Owens nail the 2 free throws. With a second to go, the last gasp for Georgetown to win it in regulation, knocked away. We go to overtime, tied at 81. In overtime, 87-86 Syracuse, 28 seconds to go. Coleman the bounce to Thompson, lays it in the Cuse by 3. One last shot with 5 seconds to go. Mourning shot, the air ball, time runs out. In overtime, Syracuse beats Georgetown 89-86. Afterwards, John Thompson says, listen, Ala Abdelnabi loses the ball. It falls anyway. You figure this was Duke's day. Great Tar Heel passing, though. Scott Williams taking King Rice's pass, sending it home. The Heels are up by 5. More great passing. Jokic ripping down the board. The long pass to Rick Fox. And Carolina leads it 40-37. Duke will tie it. Bobby Hurley to Robert Trickey. The Tar Heels lead it by 1.5 in an excellent game. Trickey the board. And the beautiful wraparound pass to Bill Anderson. Duke backs up by 2. So the lucky bounces wouldn't go for Duke. Abdelnabi, no. And Dean Smith says, hey, Carolina, you forgot about us, didn't you? King Rice spins to the hoop. It's gone. Rice had 20. Carolina by 1. The freshman, Kevin Lynch, hanging for the 2. Tar Heels up at an 8-point lead. Rick Fox goes baseline. The pretty reverse, and the Heels will run away with it by 12. Robert Fricky playing his last home game. Tell you how it felt. Not good. Carolina kind of overlooked. I mean, is he ever in a good mood? Well, he wasn't when Ramil Robinson took the alley-oop pass and slammed it home for the defending national champ, Gene. Lighten up, Gene. But things got better for the Boilermakers. Look at the passing. And Jimmy Oliver finishes it with the jam. Purdue by 2 at the half. Hey, this is the greatest life, isn't it, Gene? But not so fast. Robinson. The beat inside. Terry Mills. He had 30. The fight shot. Gene, you enjoying your... No, I didn't think so. Purdue then goes on a 7-0 run. Stephen Scheffler, he had the unbelievable percentage of shooting. Of course, he says, when you shoot him more than 3 feet, I got a good shot of going in. 26 points he had. Robinson takes it by himself. A high shot off the glass. We're tied at 70. Oh, man, what am I doing this for? Comes down with one last chance. Tie game. Jimmy Oliver had but 6. But those are the biggest 2 right there. 79-77 Purdue. Beats the defending national champions. They cannot now. Michigan win the Big Ten. Purdue still can. And Gene Katie was all smiles after the game here at the end of the year. The pretty head fake by forward Chris King. And with 6 seconds to go, David Carlisle on the line for Wake with them up by 2 minutes. The free throw. Porciani brings it up. The clock winding down. Does it pass it off to Brian Howard in time? And is the clock running out on Valvano as well as his team? We shall see. But Wake Forest wins the game in Raleigh by the count of 93-91. Chris King.
Syracuse Sports Hall of Fame proudly welcomes Doug Logan, class of 2007.
Ladies and gentlemen, Doug Logan.
I would like to thank the committee for this honor and congratulate my fellow inductees. I would also like to thank Lori Hotchkiss and Tom White, Terry Rumsey, and Rod Wood for their work on my video. I'd also like to thank my highly skilled staff at Time Warner Sports, many of whom are working this event tonight. Being part of the staff at Time Warner and bringing you the best in local sports is as professionally gratifying as anything I've ever done. My thanks to everyone who is here on my behalf, including so many of my friends from the great sports community of Auburn. I'm thrilled to have some family members here tonight. My oldest brother, Bill, and his wife, Suzanne, made the trip from Spokane, Washington. Bill is a retired admiral and retired captain at Alaska Airlines, and Suzanne has worked in surgical pathology. Thank you so much for coming. My youngest brother, Brian, is here from Kingsland, Georgia, and he's a 24-year Navy man. And my son, Rob is a magna cum laude graduate from Syracuse University. He's currently sales manager of GE Supply Los Angeles, and he's a 2007 national champion in high-speed go-kart racing. And he's living in Newport Beach, California. Thank you. Growing up in the Chicagoland area, I loved listening to the Cubs and the Bears and the Blackhawks on the radio. The broadcasters had a style about them that made the game so incredibly exciting. I knew by the time I was in 5th grade that I wanted to become a sports broadcaster. In 1980, Bob Myron and Curly Vadabon Kerr brought me here to broadcast Syracuse games to Syracuse fans. I tried to do that accurately and enthusiastically. I came from the University of Virginia, where the football program had only 3 winning seasons in 30 years. So I left that program to come to Syracuse and broadcast for a history-rich program with great tradition at a new beginning as it entered the area of the magnificent Carrier Dome. I'm sure Orange fans everywhere, so steeped in tradition and the history of Syracuse, are wondering, who is this guy coming up from Virginia? My first home game was opening night in the Carrier Dome against Miami of Ohio. Now, my broadcast booth was a picture of proficiency. I had a stat man right here. I sat here. I had a spotter here. My great broadcasting partner, Jim Ridlon, was over here. I had a stat man over this shoulder and a stat man over that shoulder. And I'll tell you, we worked like a machine. In the game against Miami of Ohio, there were 3 touchdowns scored in 36 seconds time in the second quarter. Okay? Now, Syracuse had an outstanding running back, and you saw him on the video. His name was Joe Morris, and he was Mr. Excitement, like a lightning bolt. Anytime he touched the ball, he could go for a touchdown. Well, Syracuse scores, then Miami of Ohio breaks a long run on their first play from scrimmage, some 83 yards for a touchdown, and then it's time to kick off to Syracuse, and the ball is going high, end over end, still the biggest crowd in the history of the Carrier Dome, 50,500 on hand. The ball end over end, and it comes down to Morris at the 6-yard line. Morris has a wall of blockers in front of him. He runs to the 10-yard line, the 15-yard line, then he cuts it outside. And the fans are getting excited because he's going full throttle. He's to the 20-yard line, the 25, and he starts cutting up the sidelines right in front of the Miami, Ohio bench. Now, there are people that are diving for Joe Morris, but he's so quick, they can't get him. So empty arms as they hit the turf. So anyway, he's to the 25-yard line, the 30-yard line, and he's in full stride. There are 2 people who have a chance to get him. And one is closing in, has the angle, but Morris blows by him at the 35-yard line to the 40. There's only one more guy that can possibly tackle him. He's the kicker from Miami, Ohio, and he ain't tackling anybody. Okay, he's to the 40-yard line, the 45, he's to midfield, and the crowd is going crazy in the Carrier Dome. He's to the 40-yard line, and I notice, as I'm calling this play, my first home game for Syracuse University, I notice out of my peripheral vision to my left, my stat man, as the crowd is going crazy, he's leafing through the pages of a book. I thought it was really odd, but Morris is breaking away. The 30, the 20, the 10, the 5, it's a touchdown, Syracuse! And the crowd goes crazy in the Carrier Dome, and people at home are going crazy listening to the radio. We're going a little bit crazy in the broadcast booth. It's delirium inside the Carrier Dome, louder than I've ever heard it. And as the crowd noise starts to abate, I get tapped on my shoulder from the stat man. My first game coming up from Virginia, now at Syracuse. And he points to a line in the book, a book that he typed out. And in my first ever game with this history-rich, tradition-filled program, I'm able to look down and say, the last time a Syracuse Orangeman returned to kick off for a touchdown, Floyd Little in 1965 against Holy Cross. And the fans are saying, damn, how'd he know that? I didn't know it. I didn't know it. I just came up from Virginia. I didn't know it. But the fact is, my stat man knew it. Dave LaRose put me in a position to succeed with my very first home broadcast, and I'll always appreciate it. So tonight, as I stand before you, I'd like to publicly thank everyone who's put me in a position to succeed professionally. Most especially my mother and my father, Carol and Bob. They helped me buy my first tape recorder so I could do the play-by-play of the high school games. At WSYR, it was Hugh Barr and Joel Delmonico. At Channel 9, Steve Cronquist and Andy Brigham. At Dirt Motorsports, fellow Hall of Famer Glenn Donnelly. And now, at Time Warner, it's Mary Cotter. I hope you enjoyed the video because we shared these thrills together. Opening night in the Carrier Dome, the triple overtime victory over Villanova for the Big East Championship, Pearl Shot, defeating number 1 ranked Nebraska, crushing Penn State in '87, the 2-point conversion for a perfect season against West Virginia, any win over Georgetown, and the sensational football victories over Colorado, Texas, Michigan, Wisconsin, LSU, Ohio State, Florida, Pitt, the Hurricanes, and the Hokies. We beat them all. As keeper of the microphone for 19 wonderfully exciting years, I did my best to present and preserve all those memorable moments. Finally, throughout the audience tonight, we have living legends in our midst. On behalf of all of us here, I want you to know that we celebrate you all. And on a personal note, God bless you, Dolph Schayes, Tex Simone, Roy Simmons Jr., and Coach Mack. 20 years ago, the inaugural Hall of Fame class included Ginny Allen, Dolph Schayes, Carmen Basilio, and Marty Pirano, as well as those who have passed on: Danny Biazone, Babe Cranfield, Vic Hansen, Ben Schwartzwalder, Paul Seymour, and Roy Simmons Sr. I wish they and all other inductees over the years were here tonight. And for those who have left us, I wish I had one less day with them then, so I could have one more day with them now. I would cherish the opportunity to one more time hear their marvelous stories, and I would tell them how incredibly honored and humbled I am to be joining them in the Greater Syracuse Sports Hall of Fame. Thank you so very much.
I think we know no one does it better, but Doug, just one more thing. Before you continue with your hosting duties, your friends and colleagues at Time Warner Cable have prepared another short, very special video tribute for you. They'd like to share that now with you, your family, and this audience.
Aloha from Liliuokalani Gardens in the Big Island of Hawaii. Doug, we're sorry we can't be with you when you receive your much-deserved recognition and induction into the Syracuse, Greater Syracuse Sports Hall of Fame.
Congratulations, Doug, and aloha. We're so very proud of you, and we love you very much. And we wanted to thank Time Warner and Mary Cotter and Jeff and Todd for making this possible. It was so nice of them.
We'll be thinking about you tonight. And we'll see you when we get back, and so long for now.